Hello and welcome to a new lesson on scanning Docker images for vulnerabilities. In this lesson, we will explore how to identify potential security threats within your Docker images using Trevi. Let's start with Trevi, a comprehensive vulnerability scanner that's incredibly easy to use. Trevi scans your images for vulnerabilities, covering both operating system packages and application dependencies. First, we need to install Trevi. You can do this by running a simple command in your terminal. So let's run the curl command and we will get the install.sh from the official repository of Trevi. Then we will pipe that to sh command. Don't worry about this command because I will add it as a note to this lesson. So let's press enter. Now we have Trevi binary file inside bin directory. Let's move the Trevi from the bin directory /Trevi to /user local bin. I will provide my password. Now we can safely remove the bin directory and let's execute Trevi ---- version. And from the output, you can see that we are using Trevi version 0.50. With Trevi installed, we are ready to scan our first Docker image. So for this lesson, I have created a Docker file to build our sample Python script for this lesson. So this Docker file will containerize a Python application. It will take the app.py from source app.py, and this is a simple Flask framework code that only print hello Docker. And also I added a requirements with the Flask 1.1.2. So first, let's build this image. To build an image, as we learned together, we execute docker build -t. Then let's give a name for our image, which will be my Flask app. Then I will build the image with the tag 0.1, then dot, to use the Docker file in the current directory. Now press enter. Now we have our image. Let's list the image by running docker images, and here our image, my Flask app, with the tag 0.1. To scan an image, simply use the Trevi image command followed by the name of the image you want to scan. So let's execute Trevi image, then our image name, my Flask app, and the tag 0.1. Now press enter. And as you can see, Trevi showed its result. Let's expand this and make the size of the font smaller so that we can see the report. So as you can see, this is the report from Trevi. And this is the result for Python packages. And from the result, we can know that we have 2 high vulnerabilities and 1 medium vulnerabilities. You can see the vulnerability ID and you can know if it's fixed in different version. For example, here it says that this vulnerability is high and it's in the Flask 1.1.2 and it's fixed in Flask 2.3.2. So probably to fix this vulnerability, you need to update your Flask to 2.3.2 and also give you a description about the vulnerability. This is on Python packages level. Also, you can see that Trevi also lists the vulnerabilities in the operating system packages. Like here, for example, in your Docker image or in our Docker image, we have a vulnerability in the package perl-base. This is the ID, the severity is high, and it also will give you details if this vulnerability has a fix or not. Okay, let's execute the command one more time, but this time I will redirect the report to report.txt so that we can see it in more readable way. So here I will get the report. Let me expand this one. And as you can see here, now the report is more readable. So as you can see here, this is the vulnerability for the operating system inside the Docker image, which is Debian, you can see that you have the library apt has a low severity vulnerability and the installed version, and there is no fixed version for this one. So to handle the report and to manage to read it very well, probably you will need to export the report to a text file, for example, as we did here. Okay, now let us say that I am interested in the high vulnerabilities only. So how we can make Trevi list the high vulnerabilities only. So we will execute the same command again, but this time after the Trevi command, I will add -s for severity, then high. Now press enter. And now as you can see from the report, it only shows the high vulnerabilities for both the Python packages and for the operating system packages. You can also specify multiple severity, like here I will list high and critical. So to do that, you will add a comma after the high, then the new severity you want to list. Let's press enter. And we have a problem here because there is no space between the severities. So I will take one backspace here. Now press enter. And as you can see from the output, we have the high severity and we have the critical severity. Now let us say that you have a use case that you want to ignore a specific severity. Maybe you want to ignore this severity or this vulnerability temporarily until you fix it in the future. So to do that, you create the .trevi ignore file, and you will copy the vulnerability that you don't want to list, or the vulnerability you want to ignore. Then inside the Trevi ignore, you will add the severity ID. So let's execute the command one more time and see if Trevi will ignore this vulnerability or not. Now press enter. And as you see from the result, Trevi ignored the vulnerability which we added to .trevi ignore file. By using Trevi, we can effectively scan our Docker images for vulnerabilities, taking a crucial step towards securing our applications. Remember, regularly scanning your images and addressing vulnerabilities is key to maintaining a secure containerized environment. Thank you for joining me in this lesson, and see you in the next lesson.